Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, day 2 of our penguin unit. So yesterday we learned a little bit, right? Also talked about the body parts of the penguin, right? We learned that they have waterproof feathers due to their special oil on their feathers, right? We learned they have blubber. We learned they have a crest, right? My headband almost looks like a crest. And we learned a whole bunch of other stuff yesterday, right? Well, today we're going to talk about the life cycle. So everybody take your hand and make a circle and say the life cycle. Good. We're going to talk about the life cycle of a penguin today. Okay. I know that we talked about the life cycle of a bat way back in October. We talked about the life cycle of pumpkins and some other things, right? So again, the life cycle is going to be from birth to death, okay? Unfortunately, or to adulthood. So let's sit back and get ready to go. All set? You're screaming, you bet. Okay. So again, we have our penguin book by Gail Gibbons. Okay, yesterday we stopped about halfway through. So I'm gonna pick up where we started yesterday and go on about the life cycle. All right, ready? Once a year, many people come together to form colonies called rookeries. It is time for penguins to mate and raise their young. At this time, they make loud croaking and trumpeting. Mrs. Dietrich. See how sometimes, though, as a reader, this has nothing to do with science right now, but it had the hyphen, it's trumpeting, okay? Sounds. Most of the time, penguins are quiet, okay? So, once a year, basically, all the penguins are gonna get together, okay? And it is called a rookery. And basically what's gonna happen, it is extremely loud. All these penguins are like, okay, that's a horrible penguin noise from me, Mrs. Dietrich, but it is super loud and the penguins come to meet in a rookery. What a noisy place a rookery is, with all its harsh penguin calls. There can be hundreds, sometimes thousands of penguins in a rookery. They have no trouble finding their mates. While courting, they chase each other. Sometimes they hold up their wings away from their bodies and hold their beaks up high. Usually the same pair of mates raises its young together. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick, make some sense out of that. So basically, a mate is going to know its mate pick their mate basically based on their call, okay, the loud noises. They kind of will like flap their wings together. And basically, this is very, 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 okay, different in the term of animal world, okay? Basically, a penguin will have its mate for life and they will mate together. So it's almost similar to humans, okay? This is very foreign when it comes to birds, okay? Usually, it doesn't really matter with birds. So they kind of pick one mate and that's where they make their babies, okay? All right. It is time to build their nests. Some penguins make nests in burrows or rocky crevices. Others build nests in open using sticks and grasses. Some arrange small stones in a circle. Okay, so basically, okay, some penguins, and this is all gonna depend on their habitat, okay, where they live. Are they warmer weather penguins, right? Those ones that maybe live in the Galapagos Island, the ones that live in Australia, right? The ones that live in warmer places. Or the complete opposite, they live in Antarctica. Okay, so there's going to be a difference between the two, okay? All the species, not the two, okay? Depending on where they live. So, for example, an Adelie penguin, okay, a Galapagos penguin, they're going to make their nests out of sticks, rocks, okay, things like that. Now, the king and the emperor are completely different, guys. Let's learn about them. The two biggest penguins, the emperor and king, don't build nests. Okay, and we kind of see an illustration of them right there. Okay, so again, all the penguin, there's 17 species, okay? 15 of the 17 species are gonna build nests. 2 do not, and that is the king and the emperor, okay? Again, probably the two most famous of the penguins. Soon after the nest is built, it is egg laying time. Most penguins usually lay 2 eggs, while one parent keeps the eggs warm, incubating them. The other searches for food. Incubation can last 30 to 60 days, depending on the type of penguin. The penguins fiercely guard their eggs and their nesting territory. Okay, now, most penguins, again, there's 17 species that we know of. Most penguins lay about 2 eggs, okay? One will incubate, which means they'll sit on, right? They'll keep it warm, the egg, and the other will go search for food. Hold on one second, guys.
Morning, faculty. There are sign-up coverage sheets in front of the main office, and we have quite a number of teachers out today. So please come check out the sign-in coverage forms in front of the main office. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that announcement. All right, so basically most penguins lay 2 eggs, right? Except for, guess who? The emperor penguin, okay? The emperor penguin, the one in Antarctica, the most famous of all the penguins, has a completely different life cycle, okay? Let's learn a little bit about that. King and emperor penguins only lay 1 egg, okay? So again, different than, let's say, the macaroni or the little blue penguin, king and emperors lay one egg at a time, okay? The female quickly passes her egg over to the male. Now, this is very interesting, guys, in, again, the terms of animal world. Penguins are completely unique, only not even because they are the only flightless bird, but because of this. So let's listen up. He carries the egg on top of his feet. The egg is kept warm by a flap of his belly called a broad pouch. He carefully waddles around short distances without dropping the egg. During incubation time, the female swims out to sea, okay? So let's talk about that a little bit, make sense of what Gail Gibbons is saying. Emperor penguins lay 1 egg, okay? The female lays the egg and she quickly, especially due to the harsh conditions in Antarctica, the weather, okay, the harsh temperatures, passes it to the male, and the male is the one who keeps the egg warm. He basically puts it on his feet, okay, and then there's a broad pouch, which is basically like a big layer of his skin and feathers, okay, and it covers it. Then the mom, the female, leaves. She goes out to sea, okay? The male emperor penguins then together start to gather in cold, dark polar winter. The temperature can get as low as negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? For example, today when I'm reading this is December 16th, and it is like 30 degrees out here, and it's gonna snow tonight. So think about negative 60. Think about how cold that is. Okay, so basically the males, because the females are out at sea getting food, they're going to huddle together, okay? So that huddle, and we see the huddle, they get all close together to try to keep themselves warm, okay? They protect themselves by huddling close together, constantly moving from side to side, inside and outside of the group. So basically one male penguin will go inside, they kind of all huddle, right? They shake, they keep him warm, and then someone else switches in, okay? During this time, they don't eat. They fast, which means you don't eat, living off stored body fat, and they can lose up to 45% of their body fat, okay? They are not leaving to eat. So during this entire time where the baby egg is on the broad pouch, okay, they're huddling, they're keeping each other warm, they are not eating. They lose up to 45% of their body fat. They're basically just living on their fat that they had prior to the winter, or the really cold part of the winter. Okay. After about 65 days, so that's about a little over 2 months, the egg hatches. The female returns around this time. It's time now for her to take care of the chick. She tucks it under her broad pouch to keep it warm. Then the male emperor penguin is free to swim out for food, okay? So basically the mom is out after she lays the egg, the dad takes care of it, the mom is going to get all the food, and then once the baby's born, the mom comes back and the dad goes out to sea. Okay, the chick weighs only about 11 ounces and is covered in gray, soft down. The mother has food in her belly. When the chick is hungry, the mother throws up or regurgitates a meal for it. Okay, so let's make a little bit sense out of this. Okay, so first, if we're talking about the emperor, okay, the mom lays the egg. Okay. Then the mom passes it to the dad, who puts it in his broad pouch, takes care of it, keeps it warm, right? While the mom's out to sea. Then the chick hatches, okay? The dad leaves, the mom comes back. A penguin chick is not going to look like a penguin right away. It's going to have soft gray down feathers. So my sweater today kind of has like that soft, I don't know if you can kind of see it. It's not down, but it's like that soft, like pillowy type material. This is basically what I'm wearing, is basically what a penguin is going to look like when it first is born, okay? It is going to have no feathers. It just has like soft, downy fur, okay? Now the baby can't leave. It's underneath the broad pouch of the mom. The mom just was out at sea for 2 months eating, okay, getting all that food. The penguin's hungry. The mom regurgitates, let's say regurgitate. Yep, throws up in the baby's mouth, okay? Well, when the father returns, both parents take turns feeding and keeping the chick warm. The chick grows. When it's about 8 weeks old, so about 2 months, okay? It weighs about 4 pounds. Now the chick is too big to stay under its parents' broad pouch. The chicks then begin to gather in groups called crevices. They huddle together to stay warm. When the sun shines, they scurry around getting stronger and practicing their balance, okay? So again, the mom might regurgitate into the baby's mouth. About 2 months, 8 weeks, the baby gets too big and they start to join their own groups, crevices, okay? When a parent returns, it calls with a cry only its chick knows. The chick rushes to its parents. Mealtime, the chick is fed one huge meal after every few days. It takes time for the parents to take each trip out to sea for food. Okay, so this was kind of similar with bats. I think school was shut down then when we were going to do this, but basically a bat would know its parent based on its smell. Penguins know its parents based on its call, okay, based on its cry. Now, what happens after the crevices is all penguins are raised in similar ways. When the chicks are 3 to 10 months old, they begin to lose their gray down and grow adult feathers. Now they're called floodlings, okay? And we kind of see that here. So basically what happens is, okay, egg, the dad takes care of the egg, okay? The egg hatches is in the broad pouch. Okay, then the mom comes back, takes care of the baby. They both feed the baby. They regurgitate into the baby. The babies then have their down feathers, right? They join crevices, and then they become floodlings. Floodlings are going to be where they're half down, half adult, real penguin feathers, okay? They kind of look crazy. I think we're going to see it on YouTube on one of the videos where they kind of look strange because they're half and half, okay? And then after they are floodlings, they are off on their own. They learn how to hunt and survive without the help of their parents. In about 4 years, they will return to raise their own young. Okay, so after they become floodlings, then they become officially adult penguins. And at about age 4, they start to have babies of their own. Imagine that happening with humans. Okay, at one time, the number of penguins was declining. Eggs were harvested and penguins were hunted for their skins. Their fat was boiled down to make oil. Okay, so this was a while ago. It's really sad. Today's penguins are in danger. Sometimes oil spills coats to their feathers. Overfishing reduces their food supply. They get tangled in fishing nets. Tourists can do harms to colonies of penguins by disturbing them. Now there are laws to help protect them. People work together to help penguins survive in our modern world. Some areas have been named penguin sanctuaries. Okay, so basically penguins are kind of endangered. We want to make sure that we're not hunting them. Okay, we want to make sure we're not hurting them by overfishing so that they starve. And there are places that are safe havens for penguins. Penguins can be found in zoos and aquariums. People working there take care of the penguins in a clean, safe environment. It is fun to watch penguins play. Okay, and if you've ever been to the aquarium out east, Long Island Aquarium, or any aquarium really, you may see penguins, okay? All right, guys. So, again, today's goal as readers, scientists, researchers, writers, was the life cycle of the penguin, okay? So again, in Google Classroom today, you have a ton of information. There is actually a book for you to fill out in Google Classroom about the life cycle of a penguin. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed that story and you learned a little bit more about the life cycle of a penguin, and I will see you tomorrow for more penguin videos. Bye, guys.